In the event of a water damage emergency, call PuroClean of Cenla.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I have most of my cognitive function back. I'm awake. I slept about 5, 6 hours last night, took a little snooze while watching some football, and now we jump right back into the weather. It's what we do around here, and well, look at that. That's a view of the tower that I'm thankful did not come tumbling down. We have some ice still up on that. You can see the trees out in Gina. The Toledo Bend camera. It is down. I think they're out of power. They're having other issues out there. 28 degrees in Leesville. I just went to the cameras where you can actually see some of this ice accumulation. And right here in Alexandria, we actually have a little bit, not too much out there, but you can see the trees got a little white on them still. In town here, I'd say we had about 1/10 of an inch of accumulation, so it was a little lower than I was expecting, and there's a couple reasons why. The stuff that really could have accumulated turned to sleet. I still don't know exactly what happened there because we had such a warm nose aloft. We must have had a real steep little layer down there where it was cold just beneath that. So that turned into mostly sleet, and then when the real heavy stuff came through, we actually warmed up to about 32, 31.5, so a lot of that heavier stuff, as I'd been saying, did run off, and that's good news. So that's why we didn't see the power outages last terribly long, at least not at my house. It was about an hour and a half. I know some of you are still without power. So let's go ahead, take a look at everything right now. Extreme cold warnings are in place, and you're looking up at this going, what is that guy up near Dallas? Is that coming down this way? I don't think it's going to come this way, but I think we're going to see our own little bout of a few flurries. Did anyone see any around Bentley, Dry Prong, Pollock, that area? Because I saw some reports. I started getting those, and I looked at radar, and you could actually see where they were. Now, with the winter weather alerts, now it's all about the extreme cold warning. This is all just the deep blue here. This is what used to be the wind chill warning. They shifted up the wording on this. Let's add up the power outages here real quick across the area still. So we have 12, 5, 15, 8, 18, 22. We're at about 25,000-ish. So things are coming back here pretty quickly. And I know it's not going to be quick enough because tonight is going to be a very, very cold night. Already 30 degrees Alexandria, 21 Shreveport, a little warmer down to the south, but they have power down that way. So let's take a look at, let's see, we're going to go to the planner now, and then I'm going to take you into some of this craziness that's still going on around here. 31 degrees, 6 p.m., 27, 9 o'clock, down to 24 at midnight. Drip the faucets, drip the one furthest away from the main line that goes into your house. Mine's out front, so I'm going to drip the one in our bathroom in the back there. And if you have any exposed pipes, go ahead and wrap those. I actually stopped by Ward Ace Hardware. Hey, they're a sponsor, and I got some of this insulation wrap that I guess I'm going to have to go out there and do right now. I had a freeze miser for both of them, but that was not working on one because there was a weirdness on the seal of the hose. You don't care. So check this out. You see the little blue blips that popped up there? We've seen a few flurry reports. HRRR and Barron model keep showing these possibilities. So I'm just going to mention it that we could see a few flurries in the area. Nothing's going to measure up or anything. We're not going to see anything like that. But I do think we're going to see some flurries across the area this evening. They'll be scattered. It won't be a ton of that stuff, but it is possible that you see a few snow flurries. And if you do, please let me know in the comments. I like that stuff. Snow flurries in Bentley about an hour ago. Put a jacket on the cat. Oh, that cat's going to be in here. She's not here right now, but she will be wrapped up. We keep each other warm. So for tonight, we're getting down to the teens. We also have those winds that are going to be gusting up to about 20 miles per hour, maybe 25 miles per hour. That's going to produce some pretty nasty wind chills, which I'll show you in just a second. But yeah, that breeze is going to stay up tonight. So it is going to be very cold. And you see here, we're in the mid-20s through the evening. Then comes the real cold stuff, wind chill. These are the temperatures, I'm sorry. So these are going to drop down to the upper teens across most of the middle of central Louisiana, lower teens up north, and then low 20s down south. And here are your wind chills. Now watch this. These wind chills just take an absolute dive as we get after midnight. 12 degrees Alexandria, 4 in Faraday. This is not exact, but we could see some sub-zero wind chills dip into the northern parishes there. From Faraday over toward Winfield could dip down to 0 or even a little bit below briefly. So this is very cold stuff. I showed you we have 25,000-ish power outages. You got to go ahead and find these folks if it's grandma down the street who needs some help, needs a warm place to sleep. When we have temperatures when we have wind chills like this, that's going to be really bad stuff, especially if they've been without power all day and cooling things off. It's only going to get worse tonight. So do what you can to take care of those around you, and be safe, be careful, and all that. And again, space heaters can be dangerous. The generator, you want it in a well-ventilated area. Let's not make these mistakes that can be tragic. So the GFS model also showing that little hint of a couple of flurries in the area. So hey, I mean, I've got a few models showing it. It's happened. We're just going to talk about it. It's not much. It's not going to accumulate, but it's going to be fun to watch if you see a few. Then what about this next weekend thing? You see the snow trying to form, and I don't think it happens. I think that's going to get suppressed down to the south. Could it happen? Of course. I never close the book on this stuff, but that's the one that you've been hearing about. Ensembles have drifted away from it, so I lean toward that one not happening. I'd say, 5 to 10% chance of something. Even the WPC outlook is keeping us pretty dry. Not too much going on with that. 7-day forecast shows that we are freezing cold. 19 degrees Monday morning, 15 Tuesday morning, below freezing every night except Friday. Might get up to 35 there. And temperatures during the day stay pretty chilly. And I think we stay cool after this, but I think it's not going to be quite as biting of a cold air mass as we have right now. So it's going to be cold. That's going to be through the first week of February. Then we probably do start to warm things up a little bit. And trust me, you're going to be, I get it. I love the cold weather. I've gotten my fill. I'm fine. This next couple of weeks stretch, that's going to do me in on that. And then we'll get to where all the warm people, all your stuff starts to become the big winner across the area. Looks pretty dry too, but we actually saw a really, even if it's frozen, we saw a really good rain across the area, and that's really helping things out with the drought conditions. You're doing the polar plunge in the pool all this week. Okay. She always posts these in the subscriber chat. Maybe I'll have to hire you on as the content producer in there. So yeah, Nicole's going to be throwing the family in the pool. How you doing, everybody? Flurries in Tioga, cool. Colleen had a few, nice. John Lee, how you doing? South Toledo, you had flurries. Okay, thanks, Emily. I appreciate that very much for the star send there. Yeah, I love all the reports of the flurries and everything. I do think we're going to see a few more. Actually, let's go over to radar. And then I'll get out of here because I do want to go watch some more football. Let's see if I can. I'm gonna see if I can go hypersensitive on this thing and see if. I'm gonna go back 2 hours, see if we can see it. So this is all just kind of ground clutter here. Yeah, you see that little patch right there? That was the little band of flurries that moved right here. Dry prong, pollock, Bentley, Ball, Tioga. Yeah, you can see where you saw that. And down on the southern end of Toledo Bend, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a few flurries down there, because with that north-northwesterly flow, occasionally you can get lake effect flurries on the south end of Toledo Bend. So something to watch for there. If you see any snow, catch a video of it and put it in the comments, and I will look at it and love it and be jealous and hope that I get a few here in Alexandria. Thank you, Keisha. I appreciate that. All right, good evening, good night, goodbye. I'm going to get out of here. No more live streaming tonight. I'm actually going to go watch the other football game. Gumbo is on the stove. I literally woke up at noon. It's okay. I went to bed at 7. I'm not just one of those guys that sleeps till noon. And I smelled gumbo cooking. My wife was out there doing that, and it was glorious. What a way to wake up. Thank you, Tanisha. I appreciate the kind words, and I appreciate all your kind words. Everybody's been awesome during this event. I know it didn't go 100% exactly right, but I really, in looking at the verification of this forecast, it was worse up north. It was better as you headed further south. We got off a little easier here across Rapides Parish than I was thinking was going to happen. Rapides, Vernon, and Avoyelles still had power outages, still had disruptions to life. It just wasn't the higher end of things, so that's I think we're all okay with that, because I'm looking up at what Jared's dealing with up in Washita Parish, and it's wild and crazy up there. Well, thank you, Becky. I hate to leave when people are tipping the dealer, but yeah, I'm going to get on out of here. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Again, very cold stuff. Bring the pets inside, drip the faucets. Not too many, 1 or 2. That'll do it. The one furthest away from the water main out front. And yeah, I think I'm out of tips there. All right, I'll see y'all later. Have a good one.